Open session, and we're going to go forward with the Pledge of Allegiance today, led once again by our very own service veteran, John Cunningham.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, John. And we are going to our 702 item, which is open forum. And Kristen, I think you've got a few things to cover.
I do, thank you. The one item that is on the agenda is that we invite all of our community members to the Robinson School Building Feasibility Study, our first interactive community forum on Thursday, April 9th at 7 p.m. at the Robinson School. You will see a press release come out tomorrow in which the Robinson School Building Committee approved and Mass School Building Committee approved our designer, LaValle Breschinger, to be the architect team, and the select board signed that contract last meeting. So we're very excited to kick off. This first interactive community forum is for all of our residents. It's not really to talk about just the Robinson School. It's to talk about educational goals for the community, redistricting, potentially, the goals and the needs of the buildings that we have, and then focus in on Robinson. And then there will be future open forums that are targeted towards specific matters in May and June. So please stay tuned for that as well. So again, more information will be coming out tomorrow, but I did want to give a preview. We'll also have a poster at town meeting for those of you who are going to attend. So that dovetails, I know Madam Moderator is in the room. We have our annual town meeting this coming Saturday, March 28th at 9 a.m. at Westford Academy. Registration starts at 8 a.m. All are welcome. Plenty of room for everyone. We have a 22 article warrant, and there was a League of Women Voters preview last Thursday that has been recorded on WCAT, so please feel free to review that, and all of our town meeting documents are online. While I'm going through that, we are going to be starting parking at Westford Academy. If that is full, we'll be moving to Christa Foley with shuttle service, then Robinson, and then Abbott if absolutely necessary. There will be free transportation through the COA if you sign up by tomorrow. There's free childcare for those who have signed up by last week. If you need a disability accommodation, we did ask for that to be in a few weeks ago, but if it's absolutely necessary, please contact the town manager's office. Coffee will be available for sale from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the cafeteria through the Roots program through the Westford Public Schools. And then the cafeteria staff and our town staff will be serving lunch for sale when we take our midday break. So please bring cash for those items, and I know some people don't generally carry cash, but we as a town cannot accept Venmo, unfortunately, or PayPal or Apple Pay or whatever you may want to pay with. So we're looking forward to that day. We thank the moderator for all her work and effort in getting prepared, and thank you all for being engaged in that. Also want to thank those of you who came to our Pay As You Throw forum last night at Stony Brook School. We had over 50 people in person and I believe about 100 people on Zoom. That was an overview of our Pay As You Throw program and several of the matters that we'll be voting on at town meeting on Saturday. Taping was done by WCAT. Thank you so much for doing that, and it's now available on their YouTube channel, and we'll be pushing that out on our social media channels later this week.
It's a tight 2.5 hours, so get some popcorn.
Yes. And then the presentation is 45 minutes, so if you just want to stay for the presentation, if you want to stay for the questions and answers that are really informative, do the 2.5 hour version.
Yeah, and thanks to Elizabeth and for Christina Green, members of the Recycling Commission, and just general people who know a lot about the issue are there to support us.
Absolutely. And then finally on my docket, if you have time in your schedule this week, because I know there was Pay As You Throw last night, select board tonight, town meeting Saturday, there is an open forum on the Route 40 corridor and the study that we're doing there. It's an open house style this Thursday, March 26th from 6 to 8 p.m. back at the Stony Brook School Auditorium. So we invite you to come to talk about reviewing and discussing the corridor's character, building form and streetscape concepts, provide feedback to refine visual preferences, provide your input to guide proposed framework and overall design direction. And I'll just show this, but it is on our website if anybody's interested in attending. So that is what I have this evening for open forum.
Great. Anything from open forum from anyone else?
Not for me.
Nope. Okay, you look like you had your finger up, John. No. Actually, quickly before open forum, if you're the middle schooler from Blanchard that called earlier today and left a message on my home answering machine asking to make a request to sell cookies to help support an anti-hunger initiative on the Common, which I totally celebrate, you probably need to call the town manager's office. The reason I'm mentioning it here is because I returned the call, and the message that was on the return was, "You've called an inconvenient time, and I probably won't call you back." So I did leave a message, but just in case the person, in fact, is not, if you're a middle school student and you're interested in setting up a bake sale, please call. We will find a way to support you. Please, Wendy.
Wendy Gloyd, 16 Pleasant Street. I'm also serve on the Commission on Disability. At the town meeting, annual town meeting, we will have a table. We'll be wearing yellow vests, so we'll be very visible. We'll be assisting members of the community who might need hearing devices, who might need tablets, or who might need to some logistical support in getting to our seated area. We have an area cordoned off for wheelchairs or walkers. Also, we'll have braille clickers as well. So we will have all those items and be able to help you. Also, on a related matter, the Commission on Disability received a mandatory notice regarding the 219 Littleton Road, Westford Regency building plans, and they are requesting a 521 CMR variance. I had emailed details, and it's in the select board packet of what we received. The variance applies to approximately 41 of the 300 proposed units. So they're asking, it's a loft area, it's called a flex space. Supposedly it's not going to be marketed as a living space, but the Commission on Disability, looking at the plans and knowing that this is the beginning of a lot of the MBTA building projects that we will have going on, we're just bringing it to everyone's attention. We're allowed to be advisory, we're not directive, but the concern is that that huge portion, 41 of the 41 of the 300 units will not have a lift. So as people might be disabled, age in place, things happen. One of the things that always sticks with me is we had someone from Massachusetts Office on Disability come to speak to us, and they mentioned that being disabled is a group that someone can join in just a second, within a second, a moment of their lives. So you never know when you're going to go from being able-bodied to needing assistance. So that is something I just want to bring forward. And on another note, our friends at the Chelmsford DEI Committee are hosting a Transgender Day of Visibility panel discussion, and that's going to be in the Chelmsford Center for the Arts on Sunday, March 29th from 2 to 4 p.m. It's called Transgender and Non-Binary 101. So if folks want to know more, maybe have a family member or someone that they know of that they have recently found out is non-binary or transgender, would like to know more, please go. I've gone to this repeated event for the last 3 years, and it's been an excellent event, especially for folks who are trying to learn more and get more informed. Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy, for sharing that information. Any other members from the public or people online for open forum?
I don't see anyone online.
Okay, then we'll move on to our 705 item, which is the consent agenda. We have a request to approve the following: a banner request. The event is the Adult Youth in Youth Learn to Row program registration. The applicant is Westford Rowing, Ingrid Cruz. The dates are May 11th through May 18th, 2026. Location is at the school. We also have a request for use of the Common for Mental Health Awareness Week kickoff story walk. The applicant is Community Wellness Coordinator, our very own Nicole Leviolette. The date is April 28th, 2026, and the time is 5:30 to 7. Special license requests, Spring Farm celebration. The applicant is Westford Remembers and Good Pickin' Farm, Sandra Ave. The date is May 3rd, 2026. Location is Good Pickin' Farm, 5 Gould Road, and the time is 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And finally, we have a request for the Taste of Westford. The co-host is the Westford Business Association. The applicant is The Orchard, Alexis Chivaka. The date is May 21st, 2026. The location is Orchard Church, 130 Littleton Road, and the time is 5 to 8:30 p.m. Any questions or comments from the board on those? Chris?
I noticed we have that star, the asterisk next to that last one. What does that represent, just for people if they're looking at it?
So at the time that we posted the agenda, we were not totally sure of the timing of the event. Since then, Westford Business Association has posted a flyer, and the hours are 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. So we just wanted to be cognizant of that.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. There being none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, back to the NJs. We are not quite ready for our 7:15 item because we need to call that at 7:15. It's a public hearing. So let me jump to, what do you think, Kristen? Should we do minutes for approval? We could do the...
Yep, we could definitely do the minutes.
So we only actually have one. There are two on the agenda, but there's one that we're going to vote for release tonight, which is the January 27th, 2026 executive session minutes for release. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And let's see if there's anything else.
Do new old business.
Okay, actually, let's take advantage of the fact that Wendy's here and not make her stay through the whole time unless she chooses to. You're very welcome. We hope you want to stay. We'll do our 8 o'clock item, which is old new business. It's a request from the Westford LGBTQ plus friends and allies to proclaim March 31st, 2026 as Transgender Day of Visibility. And there were some items in the packet regarding that request. Do we have any questions from the board about that?
When do you want to speak?
Yeah, Wendy, do you want to just share with the public what that is?
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to present this item. On behalf of the Westford LGBTQ Friends and Allies, I'm here to respectfully request the Select Board consider issuing the provided proclamation wording that would recognize March 31st as Transgender Day of Visibility. The Westford DEI Committee reviewed the proposed language, which I've provided to you, on February 25th and voted unanimously to support forwarding it for your consideration. The draft has been intentionally written in standard municipal tone, and it focuses on dignity, belonging, and community respect, which are foundational values of Westford. Transgender Day of Visibility was established in 2009 in Michigan. Before that, transgender visibility was focused on a day of remembrance, which was recognizing folks we had lost in the community. It was a very solemn event. It was very mentioning names of folks who had been lost to violence or marginalized and lost due to other reasons. And the reason we're asking for this year is that many in the community are experiencing a lot of losses. I am very in tune with the Greater Boston PFLAG organization, and many of the families that I support, family members, are having to change doctors, having to go to Western Mass to a clinic that is not federally funded because the Boston clinics currently are not able to give gender-affirming care for ages 19 and younger. I believe that legislation might be changing soon, where the federal government pressures are being re-looked at in the federal courts, whether that is legal or not. But nonetheless, we are finding that a lot of our transgender folks, especially youth 19 and under, are not only having to go through hurdles just to get the care that they used to get years ago, but also losing doctors and having to wait in lines at clinics where there's a small pipeline and a lot of folks needing help. So we felt that this year, this shared visibility and reassurance of our community members, for them to feel reaffirmed and valued and seen in this community, was a strong message and very meaningful to them this year.
Good. Thank you, Wendy, and thank you, Tirger, for bringing this forward. I checked before, but let me check again. Any questions from the board? Anything online or anything from the public?
I do not see anything online.
Great. Well, I will entertain a motion to support this event and proclaim March 31st, 2026, the day of transgender, the Transgender Day of Visibility.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. Thank you, Wendy.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we are now ready for our 7:15 item, which is our public hearing. So first thing that I'll do is entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, Sean?
Aye.
Noel?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
I'm an aye. So the public hearing is now open, and we'd like to welcome our colleague from National Grid. And today we're discussing a fixture in the public way. This is the Forge Village Road National Grid pole relocation. So if you could, thank you for being here, and if you could please describe what the change is.
Hi, Dave Boucher, Senior Designer, National Grid, 1101 Turnpike Street, North Andover. The town has asked us to relocate a pole that is in the construction zone of a culvert project. It's pole number 35. Moving it 20 feet to the west. You got the diagram up there, good. We're asking to move it 20 feet to the west and then remove the old spot of pole 35, and that would enable us to have our line intact still and move out of the way of the town's project.
And is it a temporary relocation, or there's not a need for that? It's
A permanent.
Permanent, okay.
Yeah, the location it's at, 20 feet is not going to make much difference. You know, if we were moving it 50 feet or something like that, we might need to move it back or something, but,
Okay,
yeah.
great. Any questions for Dave? Great, well, thank you for doing this. It's in support of our project, so we appreciate it. Any other questions, Kristen? Are we good
I
to go on this
just want
one?
to note for the record that Kyle Fox made a comment as Department of Public Works Director. The DPW is supportive of this position as it's necessary for our culvert replacement project. Relocation shall be per the previous correspondence between National Grid, Ty and Bond, and Assistant Town Engineer Jeremy Downs. New poles shall be located behind the guardrail, preferably 6 feet.
Okay, thank you for that. If there's no further discussion, any questions from the public, since it is a public hearing? Anything online?
There's nothing online at this
Okay.
time.
There being none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the pole relocation as described.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Great, thank you, Dave. Appreciate your time. We'll do the roll call,
You don't have to do roll call.
but we'll do it when we exit the public hearing. Oh, you were saying, do we need, since we're in the public hearing, do we have to roll call?
No, you don't, because everyone is in the room. You don't have any roll call. We had to roll call in executive session.
Okay. I'm having this, thank you, Dave.
Okay.
We're all set.
Thank you.
We're all set.
We'll be in touch with the documentation for
The
you.
group is reacting to my general amnesia when it comes to whether or not we need to do a roll call vote or not, so I'm going to work on that. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor, Chris?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Noel?
Aye.
Sean? And I'm also an aye. We will now go to our 7:20 item, and I think for this purpose, I need to turn over the chair to our esteemed town moderator, Angela Harkness.
And I am promoting several school committee members. I know we have 2 in the audience. Great. So we have Lori Oliver and Tom LaFlamme in the audience online. We have Valerie Young, Catherine Clear, Bill McDonald, and Jessica Silverman, and Shayna Farnsworth.
Okay, and do we need Catherine to call her board into session?
Yes.
Yeah, the purpose of this meeting, this joint meeting between the Select Board and the School Committee, is to appoint a member to an open position on the Neshoba Valley Technical High School Committee. So the Select Board's already in session. Catherine, if you can call the School Committee to session.
Yep, calling the school committee now into session.
Okay. As I understand it, there's one applicant for this position, Alicia Mallon, who's presently serving, and Alicia's here in the audience right now, so I'll ask her to come and sit up here, tell us why she wants to continue serving, and allow any members of the boards to ask her questions if they have any.
Fantastic, thank you. Well, hello, I haven't seen many of you in quite a while, except for Kristen, I saw you a couple weeks ago at the town manager breakfast. So thank you for having me here tonight. I'm here tonight because I would absolutely love to be reappointed to the Neshoba Tech School Committee. I've been the Westford representative to the Neshoba Tech School Committee, one of them, for the past 4 years. I originally was appointed to the alternate seat, and then I was moved to the full voting seat, and Abby Matthew was appointed to the alternate seat. I have to say, by the way, that he has been a phenomenal addition. I've loved getting to know him, and he's been a really great voice, brand new perspective on the committee. As the Westford representative to the Neshoba Tech School Committee, I can tell you that I have jumped in with both feet, as many of you know I want to do. I am currently the secretary of the committee. I'm also the chair of the legislative subcommittee, and I sit on the steering committee because of both of those things. I also have 2 students at Neshoba Tech. I have a senior graduating this year. Oh my God. And I have a sophomore. They're in the advanced manufacturing and the TV, media, theater, arts shops. I have to say it's been a phenomenal experience being the Westford representative. There are 759, I think at last count, might be 758 students currently attending Neshoba Tech from 8 towns. 98 of those are from Westford, and every year it grows a little bit more, and I think it's a phenomenal resource for our students to have. It has been a phenomenal resource for my students to have, and I would encourage the public to check out some of the public-facing things that Neshoba Tech does. The restaurant, Cosmo just reopened after a phenomenal renovation. There's also some other things that are not quite public-facing, but available to the public. The design shop does a lot of printing and bookbinding and things like that. So if you have interest in reaching out to see what else Neshoba Tech can do for Westford beyond the 98 students and counting that are there, I would encourage you to reach out to the school administration, and I hope I can continue to serve. Thank you.
Great. Anyone on either committee have any questions for Alicia? Okay.
I'll just say, having had the pleasure of serving on the Westford School Committee with Alicia. I'm just really excited, and I can hear in your voice that you're just thrilled with what you're doing, so we're lucky to have you there.
Thank you, I am, and they are a phenomenal group of people to work with. It's a great group of students, it's a great administration, so.
Okay.
And I was the same on behalf of the school committee. I had the pleasure as well of serving with Alicia and on both the committee and on the policy committee. So I'm not surprised she's back.
Thank you, and I'm going to tell you all, you should be careful because the chair of the Neshoba Tech School Committee wants to steal Catherine to come to the Neshoba Tech School Committee, because apparently that's what they do now, they poach. So.
It's all fair.
Okay, any other questions or comments, or from the public? All right, seeing none, then I'll accept a motion to reappoint Alicia Mallon to the open position on the Neshoba Valley Technical High School Committee.
So, second.
Okay, abundance of motions. All in favor, and I guess we have to do the whole thing. So let's do the select board first here in the room. Tom?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Noel?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
And Tom?
Aye.
Lori? Aye. Catherine?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Shayna?
Aye.
Jessica?
Aye.
I think that's everybody, and it's unanimous.
Thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you on Saturday when the Neshoba representatives are there for the budget discussion.
Great.
Thank
As
you.
do I.
And I think I just need to adjourn the school committee members.
Absolutely. The chair has abandoned us, but we're on a ghost ship here, Catherine.
Sorry about that.
Okay, here we go. She's back.
Okay, Catherine, you can close your committee.
She's already halfway at the door, guys.
You can hear the tires in the parking lot.
So I have a motion from Valerie and a second from Shayna. So let me do the roll call vote. Tom?
Aye.
Larry? Aye. Bill?
Aye.
Shayna?
Aye.
Val?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, good night.
So we'll close this
Saturday.
joint meeting. Now can I leave?
You can. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Get some rest for Saturday.
That's right. Hydrate, okay. Next up is our 725 item. It's a request to appoint 1 registrar of voters for the Democratic Town Committee and 3 for the Republican Town Committee in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 51, Section 15, for 3-year terms expiring March 31st, 2029. The candidates for the Democratic Party are John Ricketson, welcome John, and Raymond G., Kathy Galvin, and Jonathan Card. And I don't know if we have those folks online with us. It's not required that they are, but I want to
Don't
acknowledge
see them
them.
online.
Okay. So let's see, the procedure here, this is being, I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, John's looking at me, but.
Okay.
Yeah, we're only appointing one member
Right, there's 4 candidates for
4
one seat.
candidates.
Oh, I'm sorry,
for
yep,
one slot,
Yes.
right?
right.
Okay.
There's 1. You're right, this is worded in a strange way. We're appointing 1 person.
Yes. Request to
one
appoint
candidate.
1 registrar of voters, and there's 1 candidate for Democrat.
There's 1 candidate for the Democratic Town Committee, and there's 3 candidates from the Republican Town
Correct.
Committee. Okay, thank you, John, yeah, awkwardly worded, we're appointing 1 tonight. Okay, what's, I guess, Kristen, what's the procedure here? We can give the candidates who are here an opportunity to speak, and then we can accept nomination.
So this is a 3-member board with Lori Shaw, the town clerk, acting as ex officio member.
Mm.
And it's comprised of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Right now, there are 2 Democrats and 1 Republican. You have 4 names before you for 1 seat. The Democratic Party has nominated John Ricketson, and the Republican Party has nominated the other 3 members that you read. So you can certainly speak to the candidates if they're here. There is no requirement to have a majority Democratic or Republican based upon our registered voters. That is in the
Right.
state law.
Right, but there is a requirement to have both parties represented.
That is correct.
So they are both represented with 2 filled seats.
That is
So
correct.
this 3rd seat could,
Could go
We're not-
either
we're not
way,
under
depending
any
on the
restrictions.
board's
Okay, thank you.
desires. That is correct.
Well,
John, did you have a, yep?
well, I think, I differ in the sense that the members are supposed to represent the proportions of the 2 major parties. And the Democrats have twice the members that are, registered voters as the Republican. And so according to the law, as I read it, then that's the proportion you have to have on that, of the registrars, which means you have 2 Democratic and 1 Republican. Right now, you have 2 Democrats and 1 Republican. The 1 Democrat is up for re-election, or for reappointment. So I think the only recourse that we have is to reappoint the Democratic member.
Okay, so the
That's
point,
the way I read it, and
okay, so I understand that point of order. That's, Kristen, your understanding from town council is different than that.
That is correct. You
Okay.
need to have 1 from each party, but it is not a requirement to go with the majority party for the 2 seats.
Okay.
Point of clarification.
Yes.
And where
we're filling one spot anyways, right?
Yes.
We're four applicants for one spot.
Exactly.
Correct.
And one of those applicants is with us and the other three are not?
Right,
Okay, just so we're clear.
right.
And the one with us is the incumbent of
Is
that
the
position.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Well, it is our practice to give candidates a chance to, who are here at the time we're making these decisions, to speak. So John, if you'd like to just come up and introduce yourself and explain your interest.
Stand.
You can sit, whatever's more comfortable for you.
Well, thank you. I'm John Ricketson. I'm looking forward to serving another 3-year term. This would be my third. Just to comment, there's often confusion about why there are 3 people on this committee when there's 2 parties that need to be represented. The reason is that the town clerk is also on the committee, and the town clerk is allowed to be part of a political party. So that isn't the case here. The town clerks, in my experience, have always been unenrolled. But in case a town clerk is a member of a party, then the third person is meant to balance that. So it's 2 for 2 and 2 representing the both of the political parties.
Okay, great. Thank you, John. Any questions for John? Yep, go ahead, Chris.
So for folks that maybe don't know what your role is, do you want to just a brief paragraph of what all you do as
Sure.
a member of this committee, just so we can educate folks?
I started this job without knowing very much. I may know too much now. But the Board of Registers doesn't run elections. They are nominally in charge of registering voters, although a lot of that process happens now through the town clerk's office and the DMV. Another role is that when there's a recount, the town clerk's office that runs elections stands aside, and the Board of Registers steps up and oversees the recount. Though, to be honest, the state has a lot of lawyers who come in and help and make sure that gets done right. So for that reason, Board of Registers are not allowed to be poll workers, just in case they have to step in as a recount. And as someone said, it's really the purpose is to have each political party formally have access and knowledge about what the voter rolls are, and can question that activity, though that, to be honest, rarely ever happens. But it is also a helpful input to the town clerk's office from the parties and the citizens of the town about what input they might have about elections and registration.
Great,
Thank you.
Any other questions for the candidate? Okay, so we will thank you and ask you please to return. And I will now entertain a nomination for the open position, if anyone cares to make one.
John Ricketson.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any other nominations? Okay, there's one candidate that's been nominated, so we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor of John Ricketson for the Registrar of Voters open position, all in favor, please vote for John Ricketson. I'm in favor of voting. Aye. Okay. It is unanimous, and thank you, John, for your service, and thank you for signing up for more. Okay, we will now go to our 7:30 item, which is Redgate, which is at 219 Littleton Road, formerly the Westford Regency, request for a letter of support for a commercial conversion tax credit initiative application, EOHLC, and we're very lucky to have Jeff here to help us, Jeff Morrison here to help us, but let's understand what it is, and welcome. Do we have Lisbeth Bello with us? Hey, Lisbeth, welcome.
I am. Thank you.
Okay, Kristen, do you want to get us started on what this is and what we're
Sure.
deciding?
So for members of the public, the Westford Regency was sold back in December and has closed down. We know this is quite a landmark for the town of Westford. It's quite a change for some, but a refresh of that area. Redgate is the proposed developer for a project under our MBTA zoning project, and they are looking for several areas of grant funding to move forward with their project, one of which is to support the commercial conversion tax credit initiative. So I'll turn that over to Jeff to just give a brief overview of how that's moving along with the land use boards, and then allow Elizabeth to introduce the request to the board.
Sure. Thank you. So just in short, this application is currently before the planning board, so they're in the middle of that public hearing process. I think they have made a lot of substantial progress, and they're moving on to the more technical, detailed review, such as traffic and civil engineering. And I think it's moving fairly well right now. And the state is trying to encourage the production of residential units, and so they've created this program to create some tax incentives for folks to convert what is presently commercial space to residential space. So, and I think Elizabeth provided a memo, a summary, and I don't know if she wants to provide a very brief overview. That's sort of the high-level gist. So.
Yeah, Elizabeth, please give us an overview of exactly what request this is and what the source of the tax credit is, et cetera.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me, and thanks for the flexibility to join virtually. So right now we are proposing the Westford Regency Hotel to be redeveloped into 300 units. And these would provide 1, 2s, and 3-bedroom units, which would increase the diversity in Westford. We are proposing to have publicly accessible open space. We're proposing this whole walk around the perimeter of the property and along the wetlands that would be open to the public, as well as several open spaces that are attached to this trail, fitness centers, hammocks, playgrounds, dog park. And we are also proposing to retain the historic structure, which we understand is a priority for the community. And through our discussions, this site is one that has been a little bit challenging, especially just given the current market conditions. Construction costs are high, and the project is also burdened with infrastructure improvements that need to occur. That includes, electric power, which I'm sure many of you know about, as well as wastewater facility upsizing and upgrades. And so we have been in conversations with the state. They have pre-approved our application. They're very encouraged, just given the scale of the project. And we are respectfully requesting your letter of support for our application for this CCTCI initiative, which is due on April 2nd.
Excellent. And I have the request here with the letter.
That's actually a different.
Oh, it is a different thing. Don't listen to me at all. Okay. So this is a letter this is a letter in support of this request that you're making to the state, to the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities. So the community would be, this board would be asked to support that, but any economics would come from that program from the state.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Any questions from the group? Yeah, Chris?
I think I may have misheard you, but did you say that one of the amenities that you were planning on including was a dog park or a pocket park?
I don't believe I mentioned that, but we can let Liz speak to that and what they might be perhaps putting on the table.
We do have quite a menu of open spaces that we are proposing that would be accessible to the public, including a dog park and multiple pocket parks as well. So
Okay, this community's been looking for a dog park for a very long time, so that's a huge plus in my book. Thank you for proposing that.
it's good to hear.
Sean?
Jeff or Elizabeth, I don't know if you can speak to this. Are any of these grants, these would all just be for commercial businesses, right? None of these grants Westford would be eligible for themselves. I just want to make sure that we're not like competing against ourselves in this. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's my understanding, but I'll let others speak. I think, Jeff, you wanted to speak to that.
No, I agree. It's for converting commercial space. So unless the town holds commercial space, which I would say generally doesn't, we wouldn't really be able to qualify for that directly.
And it's also a tax credit, which we generally don't get
Right.
tax credits as a municipality. So
Right.
it is
But the
geared
others.
towards
Right.
a private company.
Understood. Thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
Before you vote, and while we have Elizabeth on the line, we've also had discussions about other grants that they may be moving forward with. So we will likely be back before this board in the next month or so with potential community one-stop grant or the like. So I just want to prep this board and prep the public that we have had those ongoing and open conversations, and we may be back in the future requesting approval of that.
One of which that Elizabeth alluded to is a potential major upgrade along a large chunk of our commercial corridor, specifically along some of Concord Road and between the intersection of Concord Road near the 99 all the way to their site. So that is, it would provide meaningful, significant electrical capacity along that commercial corridor that we see as a huge benefit, not just to this one project, but all the potential commercial development along the way. So.
Okay, thank you for that, Jeff.
Yeah.
I think we've got all the questions from the board. Any questions from the public or online?
Actually, Tom.
Yeah,
I may.
go ahead, Chris.
I think it might be helpful for the public to hear, like, if I understood the memo, one of the reasons why you're looking for some of these grants, and it may not be this particular one, is that you're looking to do some work with, is it the barn on that property? You want to retain some characteristics of the property. Can you just speak a little bit about that for the public's benefit?
So the historic structure is currently being used, I would say, for 3 uses right now. Part of it is it holds the wastewater treatment facility for the site. The other is a barn, and the third is being used as a guest sort of, I would say, suite or apartment. And what we're proposing is we're going to make renovations to the building. We're going to improve all of the outdoor, including the roof, the porches, you name it. We're going to try to bring it back to good shape. And in terms of uses, we're contemplating having some bike repair station for the public, as well as water bottle filling station. We're thinking that as part of that trail that we're proposing within the site, that the public will be able to access. They'll be able to stop there. You know, there'll probably be some programming along with that as well. We've heard some good ideas from the planning board on that regarding how to teach people to repair bikes and whatnot. We are going to be proposing some outdoor seating as well on the deck of that historic structure. But the interior, the portion of the property that is currently being used as a guest suite would remain potentially as a guest suite as well for visitors of the residents. It's the portion of the barn that we're anticipating providing some public access to.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Okay. No other questions, board? Any questions from the public or online? Okay. Then I think what I want is a motion to approve the request for a letter of support for the Commercial Conversion Tax Credit Initiative application to EOHLC.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. It's unanimous. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next up is our 740 item, which is Habitat for Humanity of Greater Lowell. We will welcome attorney Melissa Robbins to request the support for the local initiative program application. That's probably what this actually is in front of me. And request to execute the development agreement. So welcome attorney Robbins. If you'd like, just explain to the public sort of what the request is, and then we can discuss it.
Sure. Good evening, Mr. Chair. Good evening, members of the board. For the records, Attorney Melissa Robbins from Fairlawn Robbins. Sorry, trying to get up to the table. The first request this evening to the board is an endorsement of the local initiative package. You may have seen how big it is in the application. I'm not asking you to read every page at this point. You don't even have to sign any of the documents. This is actually just the application to the state. So these units that Habitat is building at 70 Boston Road can go on your subsidized housing inventory. What will happen is the board will endorse the application. I'll apply to EOHLC, and hopefully 90 days from now, we'll get the regulatory documents back, including the deed rider. This board will endorse those documents. We'll send them back to the state, and they'll get counted on your inventory, and we'll be able to close on those habitat units. So the first request is just to ask for the endorsement of that application. I know you have some information in your packet from Mr. Morissette as well, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I guess Kristen or Jeff, any comments on?
Jeff?
I'll just say, this is a complicated site, a complicated project. It's a lot of moving parts. They're all important, and we just tried to separate and break them down by each of the different tasks. But at the end of the day, all these requests that are before you is to have these 2 units to be allowed to be sold to Habitat, and for these units to eventually count in our subsidized housing inventory. So all of these steps that you'll hear about, they've all been reviewed by council. They have approved it as to form, and we fully support this request.
Mr. Chair, I don't know if you want me to speak to the second item as well, or if you want to take them one at a time.
Why don't we take them one at a time?
Okay.
Any questions about the first thing that you described, local initiative program? Okay. Any
You have a hand in the back.
Yeah. Would you like to come up? Question from the public?
Hi, Christy Bates Pierce. I have a quick question. Is this in perpetuity?
Correct.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions from the public or online?
No, nothing online.
Okay. There being none, I'll entertain a motion to support the local initiative program application.
So moved.
Second.
Such suspense. All in favor? Okay. Let's go on to the next one. Attorney Robbins.
Sure, so the next one is a development agreement. As you know, right now, the Drew Farmhouse Inc. will be selling these units to Habitat for Humanity. Your town council wanted an assurance that Habitat for Humanity would in fact sell them to affordable buyers with a regulatory agreement not in place yet. So what we agreed to do was a very simple development agreement saying that we would in fact sell these to the affordable buyers once the regulatory agreement is issued. So that development agreement is in your package, and I'm happy to answer any questions about it. It has been approved by your town council.
Any questions on that? John?
How much are they being sold for?
I don't know
Is
if
that
we.
confidential?
No, but we won't have final prices. We have, the lottery plan is in your package, and I don't know the number off the top of my head, but it will be public information. So once I come back here with the final numbers with the regulatory agreement, you'll know for sure. Yeah. The state gets to be the final say-so in all of these things.
Any other questions on this? Yeah, from the public? You can sit closer if you want.
All right, getting her steps in.
Christy Bates again. I guess, can I have a little explanation about how the Habitat, I thought Habitat actually worked with the people who are going to live in the home to build it?
Yes. Yeah, and it's a little bit of a different process because there is a family selection as part of Habitat for Humanity. But the process for sale actually goes very similar, except that the choice in the lottery is a little bit different. But the state allows Habitat to still follow some of their procedures through the EOHLC process and allows the unit still to count on the inventory. Yeah, so it's been, and you can see everything in the lottery plan. And if you have any questions about it, even outside the selectmen's meeting, we have at least 90 days. We're working with the state, so I would say maybe 90 days plus. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And just to answer John's question, in the draft documents, it said each unit would be sold for $288,000. And then there is a condo fee of approximately $264 per month. That's a 25% per unit percent interest.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I squeezed over that.
And if someone's watching, sorry, Tom.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Sean. I was wondering, Ellen, I was wondering. Okay.
Thank you. If someone's watching along at home and is looking for this type of living arrangement, is there a place where they apply? That's all.
If any questions whatsoever about Habitat for Humanity, please contact your local Habitat for Humanity office. It's actually located on Tadmick Road. We do have a representative here this evening, Nancy Cook, who works for Habitat for Humanity. But they're happy to answer any questions you have. These are the 2 opportunities in Westford right now, but we do have opportunities in other communities and always looking for more. So please reach out if you have any questions about Habitat units. These are for sale units and not rental units. And I know that's A lot of people are looking for a permanent home, and this is a great way to get one through Habitat.
In a great town.
And a great town.
Any other questions from the board? From the public? Okay. I will entertain a motion to execute the development agreement.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Everyone's a little bit shy tonight. Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Robbins.
Yes.
Next up is our 750 item, the Drew Farmhouse Inc. You're sitting right where you are. 70 Boston Road, and the request is to execute a subordination agreement to allow for the recording of the master deed, which creates the units to be sold to Habitat for Humanity, Greater Lowell Inc. And also we'll discuss a request to approve the revised monitoring services contract. So, Ellen and/or Attorney Robbins, when we address the first one.
Sure. And if, Kristen, I know that Maureen and Sarah from MCO, I think, are on for the
I
second.
see Sarah, I don't see.
Okay, great. So if you could just bring
promote.
Sarah up for the
Thank you
second
for
item,
the
that'd be great.
name. I didn't
Okay, so
recognize.
the subordination, again, Attorney Melissa Robbins from Farrell and Robbins. Also with me tonight is Ellen Hardy from the Drew Farmhouse Inc. The first document that you have in your package for the Drew Farmhouse Inc. is a subordination. This is legal gymnastics is what this is. This has been reviewed and approved by town council, but in order to sell units, we have to create units. We're creating units here through the creation of a condominium. The condominium has to be first in line at the registry. Right now, your mortgage takes precedent over our condo creation. So we're asking that this board subordinate to the master deed so the units can be created. And then once the units are created, those 2 units can be sold to Habitat for Humanity. I know that's a very simplistic position on a subordination and a mortgage and why, but if the board has any more in-depth questions, I'm happy to answer them, but that's why the board would subordinate right now.
And our town council has reviewed, they've been working with the land use management department on that. Jeff, I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
No, it has been reviewed by council. It is a little convoluted, but it is necessary in order to create and be able to sell those units to Habitat. And in case you're wondering, yes, there is a mortgage involving Westford, and that's because of the CPA monies that we use. So they need this subordination in order to be able to follow through and do that sale. And it has been, again, reviewed by council.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.
Questions from the board about this one? Questions from the public? Okay, I will entertain a motion to execute the subordination agreement to allow for the recording of the master deed, which creates the units to be sold to Habitat Humanity of Greater Lowell Inc.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
There we go. Chris has got spunk in his step here. Next up is a request to approve the revised monitoring service agreement.
Again, Mr. Chair, thank you. So the monitoring services agreement is something that the selectmen have already signed. This is something you'll be looking at maybe again for Habitat for Humanity. But what happens is the monitoring agent, who is Sarah from MCO, she's also with us this evening. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
What we would like to do is modify the current agreement, and I'll tell you why. Right now, someone like Sarah from MCO Group has to certify each of the tenants every single year to ensure that they're income eligible. That is standard practice in a monitoring agreement because you want to make sure that in your rental developments, if you set it at a certain percent of AMI, that your residents are at a certain percent AMI. In the instance right now, what we have are 5 residents who come in that bear Section 8 vouchers. When you bear a Section 8 voucher, you already meet a certain income limitation. We know that because you have a voucher. So what we're asking is to add a new section into the monitoring agreement that if tenants come in with a voucher, that you do not have to go through another another tenant certification on their income because they meet the income qualifications already because they have the voucher. Why would we ask that? Well, one, it's duplicative. It also costs each unit $400 a year for this service. So we're asking this board to amend their agreement to allow for residents that come in with Section 8 vouchers to not have to do the cost certification through MCO every year.
And the tenants would effectively recertify to their income, but they'd be doing it with the Section 8 provider.
That's
like
correct.
rural housing or
The Section 8 voucher would be evidence of their income eligibility.
Okay. So it's truly fully duplicative.
Exactly. So that we're asking for relief just from that section. And Sarah can answer any questions you have on the ins and outs of the actual process if the board has any. And Ellen can answer any questions you have on the day-to-day operations out there if you have any.
And I would like to just clarify one thing.
Yep,
for both
please.
board and also. There are two parts to the 70 Boston Road project. The farmhouse itself, the whole property is owned by the Drew Farmhouse, Inc. But the farmhouse, which we use the community preservation funds to turn into 5 apartments, those are rentals. And those have been occupied since last spring of 2025. The other part is the habitat section. They are building 2 homes within the Drew barn. But I just want people to realize that the previous discussion about the request for subordination, that is the mortgage on the whole property, but that has to do with habitat's part of the project. This modification is for recertification to the 5 people that we have living in our 5 apartments. And when the lottery was held in the fall of 2024, we ended up having all 5 of the applicants and the 5 people who live there all with Section 8 vouchers. So every year they must be recertified. That has just happened. Each one of them has been recertified. So that was when we approached, Sarah is the Assistant Director of MCO Housing Services. We have a contract with them at your, it was more than a suggestion. We are required to have a contract with them by the town. And we went to Sarah and to her Director Maureen and said, you are required by the contract we have with you to do this recertification. All 5 of our renters have just been recertified by their housing authority. This seems, as Melissa said, duplicitous. And we're grateful to Sarah and Maureen for recognizing that and agreeing. And Sarah, if you would just speak quickly about, or as long as you want, actually, as long as it takes to make it clear about what the change is and what difference this makes in terms of the services that the Drew Farmhouse and MCO will have with each other, please.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I hope you can
Sarah, we're having a little trouble hearing you. I'm not sure if that's on our end.
If I project my voice a little bit better.
That's better. Yeah, why don't we continue?
Sorry about that.
No
Thank you for
problem.
having me tonight. With the original agreement, we were reviewing every single new tenant and doing the annual recertification and compliance reports. And like it's been mentioned before, that is duplicitous when it comes to the housing authority, since they're already required to do that on an annual basis and on a new tenant basis, or a new voucher basis, I should say. So the only difference here, it would be that if the new, if one of the units became vacant and there was a new tenant or prospective tenant, and they did not hold a housing-based voucher with a housing authority, then we would go ahead and go through the review process for the new tenants and see if they're eligible for the program, refer them over to the Drew Farmhouse for their tenant review, and it would work very similarly. And then if there is anything that they have questions on when they're doing the annual recertifications or compliance, we are available to provide advice as needed. And that's part of the contract that's been amended too. But otherwise, we're just there as on a consult basis, as long as all tenants are housing-based voucher tenants.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. It's very clear. John?
Does this relieve the occupant of that $400 fee?
That fee is not paid by the occupant, that's paid by the Drew Farmhouse Inc. It's our board
So
of
that
directors.
relieves you of that.
Exactly right. So that saves us $2,000 a year.
Correct.
Okay, good.
Any other questions on this?
I just want to note for the board, myself and Mr. Morissette met with MCO Housing. We are amenable to it as well on a staff perspective.
We're very grateful to MCO for being flexible about this and reflecting the tenants that we actually have. It was a big help to us. Thanks.
Oh, great. That's great. I'm sorry. Christy, yes, please. We're going to put a second mic there for you.
Christy, Mike.
I'm relatively new to the Affordable Housing Trust, so this is all very interesting to me, so I appreciate, thank you for letting me ask the question. This is only the Section 8, the waiver to renew, if someone has a Section 8, is only applicable to 70 Boston Road, not to our other affordable housing units for the people who have Section 8 vouchers.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
Very specifically, Christy, it's the agreement between the Drew Farmhouse Inc. and MCO Housing Services, period. So that one document for that one property, for those 5 apartments. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions related to the revised monitoring service agreement? Okay, there being none, I will entertain a motion to approve the revised monitoring services agreement.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you
So
very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Okay, we've already done our 8 o'clock and our 8:05. So we're at our 8:10 item, the board reports and updates. Kristen, why don't you take us through the first one, and we'll check and see if other people have.
Sure. Before I do this, I just want to note that we had expected the Conservation Commission to give you a board update, a committee update this evening. However, they are waiting for the proposals for the caretaker at Stony Brook Conservation Land to come in, so we do anticipate that they will be before you on April 14th. So that is next up on your agenda. One of the things that I did just want to bring up to the board briefly this evening, the town clerk and our office had worked diligently over the past month to get out notices for existing board and committee members whose terms are to expire on June 30th of 2026. And with that, we also issued the board and committee appointment process. In the letter that went out to the people whose terms is up, we did ask that they submit a volunteer activity form. We also realized that in the board and committee appointment process that you approved, it says sitting members do not need to submit a volunteer activity form. So that is a bit contradictory. We've received some comments. We understand that. I think from a staff component, having those existing board and committee members submit a volunteer activity form helps with the review process when the chair of that board or committee is taking in all of the information and working with their group to then recommend the slate of candidates up for that reappointment. I don't want to necessarily reopen a can of worms. If you want to just do it on a one-off this year and then we revisit the process next year, would be willing to do that. I just want to bring it to your attention and the members of the public's attention. We very much value our volunteers and our board and committee work. We apologize if there was any confusion and would just look to the board for their recommendation in the future if you wish, or this evening if you wish to make a recommendation.
Okay, so this is a discussion point on a procedure in the existing process that says if you're a sitting member, you don't have to submit that.
Yeah, if you are up for reappointment.
Okay, and you're saying that from your point of view, it's better process and helpful to the chair if they do.
I believe so, because they would have all of that information in front of them at one point in time. Perhaps the name would not get lost when they're reviewing all the VAFs for that seat that is up for reappointment.
Okay, so I guess I would ask the board whether they feel like this is something that they're ready to amend tonight, or whether it's something we should take under advisement. And I guess the request in that case, Kristen, is that we basically agree an exception in this case that people do send in a application. Is that right? Okay. Chris?
So I think just to clarify, this is really trying to solve the use case if there is a person who is up for renewal and other applicants for the same seats.
Correct.
Which, in the case that there aren't other applicants, would you still make the recommendation that a VAF needed to be filled out for that person?
I think because we have so many boards and committees, it would be very difficult to single out several boards and committees that would not require a VAF, and some that would. So I think from a, maybe I don't understand.
Yeah, sorry. So if I'm sitting on a committee,
yeah,
and my term is coming up,
mm-hmm,
and nobody else has submitted a request to serve on that committee, should I need to go through the process of filling out this VAF again? That's the question.
mm-hmm.
What I think you were saying earlier is you would like everybody to do that if there are other people that are interested in the seat. So if there's nobody else interested, I don't know why we would ask somebody to spend the time filling out a form that we never
So I think
use.
it's on the back end from the administrative perspective. Our staff would have to go through every single board and committee and see if there's a VAF available for that board or committee in order to then tell that committee chair the person who's up for reappointment does not need to submit a VAF because there's no one else slotted for that seat.
So just for the purpose of discussion, and then I'll want to hear from others whether you feel like we're ready to address this tonight or not. So I guess in the case, the trigger event could be that there is a VAF submitted by someone who's not currently sitting. That could trigger the process where then, okay, someone who's not currently here is interested for a seat. And so out of fairness, we need everybody who's up for that seat, whether incumbent or not, to submit.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be sort of up to the chair to administer, and I guess less clean would introduce at least part of the concern that you have.
I think so. I think
Okay.
it does put additional work either on the chair or the staff for that perspective.
Okay. So the choice we have here is to entertain Kristen's proposal that we do an exception for the June 30th batch, and then consider reviewing the overall policy later. Or we could sort of on the fly reconsider the policy now. Does that, other opinions about which direction makes the most sense tonight? Let me get Mel first, and I'll come back to Chris.
I think we see how this round goes, and then we can have more of an informed decision of whether or not we want to change it to everybody submitting the VAFs or not, would be my suggestion, as opposed to doing it on the fly tonight.
Yeah, Chris, do you have
That was mine.
That was the thing, and I see John nodding his head. So what, do you need, aside from board consent, do you need anything formal?
Thank you for
Okay.
entertaining the conversation and providing direction for this year, and we will be providing the list of appointments either late May or your first meeting in June for consideration.
Okay, and Wendy, please, I didn't mean to jump over
Sure.
your comment.
Wendy, 16 Pleasant Street, just as a chair on the Commission on Disability, you have turnover and the records aren't necessarily kept properly from chair to chair. So I guess my thought in that instance would be that if a person did not submit, an existing member did not submit a CAF form, I would probably be asking the town clerk to pull one for me so that I could have them all together. So I'd be looking for the historical record if I didn't have a new form, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I understand. So,
Yeah.
so a different kind of burden on town staff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, that's good to have on board for when we do discuss the overall policy. Okay. Other boards, reports, and updates folks have tonight? We are continuing our inviting committees to come and present their work, but as Kristen mentioned, we had someone for tonight and we were rescheduling for a good reason, so.
I do have an update.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, just
Sorry.
on the park and recreation side, this was actually an update that Kristen gave us, but I just want to mention for the public that the Nutting Road Fields project is formally underway as of, I think, a day or two ago. So good news on that front, and hopefully we will have it done by the desired end date and available for all our teams.
Which is exciting.
April, right? Yes.
So the contract end date is April 30th. I just want to be clear with the public that it will take some time for our public works staff to get out there and stripe and make sure everything's in order. So probably the second week of May, teams have been advised that they can likely start using that. And I would like to thank the school staff and the facility staff for finding other practice space for some of the other teams and working with Chris on that as well. A team effort.
That's great. Okay, I think we're ready to move on to town manager's report. Kristen.
So the first thing is, as you may recall, last year we signed an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Chelmsford to provide our sealer of weights and measures services. Before that, we had been using the NIMCOG services. They discontinued that. This has been going well. Sealer is in town frequently. We've developed a good relationship. We have a good workflow. And we'd be requesting that the board authorize the extension of this IMA. It is adequately serviced in the budget. There would be a slight increase, but we are able to adequately absorb that, and it is within the budget.
Okay. Do you want to take that one separately?
We can go through all of them if you wish, however.
Sure, why don't we
Okay.
keep going?
So the next set is grants. So for the Mass DEP for energy grant acceptance in the amount of $198,676 as authorized by the town manager to sign the grant agreement. Just want to thank Mike Edwards and his staff and the Recycling Commission and others who are involved in that. And then the next, so this is to accept a grant, and then the next is to authorize the town manager to submit an application for the fiscal year 2026 Spring Pay-As-You-Throw Program Funds Grant. So Mike, would you just give a 30-second overview of what that is?
Yeah, just Very, very quickly, this is the grant to purchase the cart should the pay-as-you-throw program move forward following town meeting.
Excellent.
All right. The next is a purchase order for road salt from the statewide contract, Eastern Salt Company, in the amount of $325,553 as requested by the Department of Public Works. As you likely know, we have gone through a huge amount of salt this winter. We always like to start the next winter with a full salt shed, and we generally purchase that 6 months in advance. So that is for that purchase. The next is to purchase vehicle extrication equipment from the Firematic Supply Company in the amount of $43,315,000 requested by the fire department. And the next batch is contracts. So given that we may have some sort of late season work, I know we had snow this morning, the Department of Public Works is looking to add Dr. Mulch Landscape Supply to our list to provide snowplow contractor services for the 2025-2026 season. The Health Department is looking to authorize the contract for Fluzone, High Dose, and Fluvoc flu vaccines. Ray is on the line. Please please let me know if I butchered those names. I apologize. For the 2026 season to Sanofi Pasteur in the amount of $39,673.16. And then finally, we have the inspection and sediment removal for 4 Westford Water Department storage tanks to Mass Tank in the amount of $12,500 as requested by the Water Department, which is part of our annual review and capital for that maintenance.
Any questions for Kristen about any of these agreements? Yeah, Chris.
Just jumping up to A, going back to the sealer of weights and measurement services. So if we didn't have that shared service agreement, I assume we would have to hire somebody to do that?
We would have to hire someone or offer a stipend to an existing employee.
So any just idea how much money that may save the town pursuing the shared service agreement?
So we generally, the shared service agreement is a little over $25,000 a year. If we were to hire an employee,
yeah,
be a lot more than that.
As I recall, there's also significant training
Yes.
and expenses to have all the properly calibrated
Equipment.
gear and equipment to do the measurements. So.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Right.
The reason why I bring it up is we often get questions about regionalization of services or shared services, and here's a win for us where we actually are pursuing that and its financial benefits.
Yes, and the town of Billerica also is involved in this agreement through the town of Chelmsford. Thank you, Jeff.
Is the $325,000 of salt, is that, how much of, what percent of the typical year's usage is that, do you think?
I'm sorry, I can't answer that question, but
Seems
I
like a
can
lot of
get
salt.
Kyle to answer that on
Okay,
Saturday.
I'll follow up, I'll grab Kyle next time I see him, talk all about salt. Any other questions or follow-ups on these items?
Okay.
Yep, John?
Here's a question, Dr. Mulch, do they bring the capability of doing the sidewalks,
That's not part of the sidewalk, it's just the streets.
just the streets?
Yes.
We're doing sidewalks,
We are doing the sidewalks, yes, this year.
right? I'm sorry, John.
Yeah, go ahead.
The salt, I was joking, but I mean, I'm all serious. Is that coming from Chapter 90 funds?
Let's see if I can get that information. It generally comes from our snow and ice budget.
Oh, snow and ice budget,
Yes.
okay, thank you.
Which you will be seeing a transfer at town meeting
Yeah.
under Article 2.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions? Anything online, Kristen?
I don't see anything online.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve the requests listed under the 815 agenda items.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any questions about correspondence? If there are none, I'll entertain a motion to waive the reading of correspondence.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Westford. Looking forward to seeing you on Saturday morning, 9 o'clock.